Hey everyone, I'm a bit of a noob when it comes to low level stuff, and recently I got interested in trying to make a programming language, so let's see if that works out. So I've started over the past day or two making a lexer. I've written this in Odin because I've heard a lot of good things about it recently, saying it's a new kid on the block, it's a lot better than C and C++, and yeah, I thought I'd be the judge of that myself. So yeah, I wanted to have a bit of a bigger project to try and stick my teeth in because I've only used it for smaller stuff so far. So over the past 2 days or so, I've started writing up this lexer in Odin. Yeah, so if you don't know what a lexer is, essentially it's one of the first stages of a programming language working. What it does is it reads a text file, like this main.odin file, for example, and then processes each thing and says, hey, it might go through this and say, first I got a string, then I got a dot, then I got another string, then I got a bracket, and then I got another string. Something like that. So yeah, apparently the lexer is the easy part of the programming language, and yeah, it hasn't taken that long to write, so far that's proven to be true. So this is just an example I have, so you can see variable age equals 5. That's what the syntax in this made up language would look like for now. It's subject to change. So let's look in the lexing file. So you can see it takes in that input string and returns a list of tokens. And these tokens are what I mentioned earlier. So here you can see I have an input string and an input. Actually, the initial array is a array of runes, and what runes are is essentially their characters. But I guess this is getting a bit into the weeds. But in Odin, to deal with UTF-8 characters, like say an emoji, emoji takes up more bytes of memory than a character, so they can't be treated one-to-one in an array. Whereas if this rune data type stores characters, and characters of different sizes all in a single data type called a rune. And yeah, I have these two different representations of that because it makes it easier to iterate through. So yeah, we essentially start at the first token at index I, which is b0, and then we have this long if-else statement. So the first thing we check if it's an identifier. What does that mean? So if it is in the list of identifiers, so if it's an A, B, C, D, E, F, G, we're going to say it's an identifier. Then we'll get the word. What this does is that we start at a certain point and we keep going while we still find identifiers. And then once we stop finding identifiers, we say, okay, that's enough. Let's return the substring. Then I check if that is a keyword. And if it's not, I just return the token of just the word itself. And then yeah, we have similar logic. So yeah, this logic was actually quite simple. Essentially, you just have a for loop that goes through all the different characters one at a time. And if you see a character like equal sign, what you can do is you can check the next character and say, is it a double equals? If so, it's an equality. If not, it's an assignment. And so on and so forth. And you can see I got quite a few if else's here. It took quite a bit to write out. But here are all the different token types you support, and it's actually very easy to add more to the lexer whenever you need. Another part about Odin is the inbuilt testing. So you can see I've written 2 tests here. You can see this first one, we get an input string like this, and then we have the expected tokens and what they look like. And then yeah, here we just go through the tokens, and if it fails to assert, I just log that out. So you can see run this test using IntelliJ. Test pass. Yeah, one thing that's actually quite cool is that you can see here it says, hey, you have a few leaks here, and then you can fix those up. Now, I'm actually not very good at low level programming. I've never really freed or done anything with the memory before, so I'm still learning. I don't really know how to fix that, but I'll get to it and they'll get done. And then yeah, I had a second larger test here, so checking all my tokens are working as expected. Going through, you can run this test as well. Run that, you can see it passes here, test is successful, and it logs these same memory leaks as before. Overall, the experience so far with Odin has been pretty good. Everything works pretty easily. There's a few things that I've found confusing, and I don't know if they're probably skill issues, but for example, one thing I found confusing, and it's not really said in the docs anywhere as far as I could see, is that initially I tried declaring this input string. You can see variable blah blah blah, and then you can see this string.clone method here. So if you try and call this function without using this, so just like this, what will happen is that this input string will get passed into this pass file function, and here the string will actually be empty. And I think that's because Well, I'm actually not super sure why that is. I guess I'm assuming because this input string, the memory or something, it gets deleted when it goes into the next scope. But yeah, you have to create a clone of it. And some stuff like that is not very intuitive. And, I would have thought that this could even be like a warning or something. But, it's maybe that, yeah, it's a pure skill issue by me. I still got a lot to learn, as I said. In terms of everything else so far, I haven't had any real issues. The syntax has been pretty good to work with. Yeah, everything seems pretty alright. The package system also has been okay. I feel like there's probably a lot of features of Odin I've still got to try out. I've heard that the type unions are a bit of a game changer, so I'm excited to give those a try as well. Also, I will say I kind of like the syntax with the pointer being a pointy thing. In this programming language I'm writing right now, I'll definitely steal that. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching. I'll put the code in the GitHub.